Well, congrats on being a 2-time director of The Flash.
Thank you.
It sounds like we're getting a fun change of pace with this episode, so tell us about License to Elongate and diving into a James Bond-style caper.
Sure. So this season, Barry's been setting up all the different members of Team Flash for sort of life after crisis. And in this episode, we see Barry and Ralph team up, and they go looking for Sue. And it very quickly turns into starting to feel like a James Bond movie. And they're out looking for her, and they interact with a pretty scary villain, and it's great. It's really fun.
How much fun did the guys have on this?
I think they had a lot of fun. It's this episode in particular is a little bit of a breath of fresh air in comparison to some of the other episodes we've had this season. So there's a lot more comedy, both for the boys, but also, for Danny and Brandon, who plays Chester. So I think the fans are going to enjoy this one.
And for you behind the camera, how refreshing was it to take on this kind of genre, especially in the midst of, like you said, a pretty dark and serious season?
It was great. It was really fun. This episode had more stunts than the previous episode I directed, so we had a lot of fun with those, sort of creating this pretty incredible sequence on stage. And I think everybody had a lot of fun with it.
So were the stunts kind of a new challenge for you? The previous episode that you directed maybe had a little more special effects and took place in the future. So what were some new challenges and obstacles you faced?
Yeah, the first episode I directed did have a lot of special effects and visual effects, and that's a specific language. And then obviously I've worked with our stunt guys. I mean, they've been on our show since season 1, and I think they're so talented. And that's one of the things I love about directing, is really getting to collaborate with my coworkers in a different capacity. And they had such great ideas that they brought after reading the script, and we were able to bring them to life in a way that was really fun for everyone.
And speaking of the script, did jokes really have to get cut out? Was it too funny at one point? How do you make those decisions?
It's tough. Fortunately, that job doesn't fall to my shoulders. It's, as a television director, the goal is to shoot as much good material as possible, and then it goes to the producers, and Eric has the difficult decision of what actually isn't going to make the final cut.
So which Bond movies did you watch to prepare?
Oh man, I watched a lot. I went all the way back to the Roger Moore ones, and Pierce Brosnan. I loved the Daniel Craig ones. Even they're just really fantastic movies, as well as good James Bond movies.
And Grant and Hartley and their tuxes. Did they like taking on that persona? Any particular Bonds that they were shooting for, or just kind of being themselves, but a little more espionage version?
I think they had a lot of fun with it. Hartley and I talked about different Bond movies, absolutely. And for the boys to get to be in their tuxes as opposed to their superhero suits, I think was a nice change. They felt very suave.
Debonair.
Yeah.
Yes. You mentioned on Insta that you like looking for small moments that inspire unexpected choices as a director. What kind of surprises did you discover while crafting this episode?
That's really just a testament to the actors and how good they are on our show, that there is so much potential there, and, I trust them that they're going to get the point across fairly quickly, but to be able to slow down and take the time and try something a little bit different is a luxury that I feel like I have, because I know them and I know they're capable so much.
So does that allow for some improvisation, maybe going a little off book?
Always. I think there's always on our show space for a little bit of improv. It doesn't always make the final cut, but oftentimes it does, and it makes the episode better.
Nice. Now let's talk about the Arrowverse ladies, all crushing it behind the camera. You're in very good company as more and more actresses from across the franchises start getting in the director's chair. Do you give each other advice, support? Is there a group text?
It was very important to me to support these women as they wanted to direct as well, both Katie Lotz and Katie Cassidy. I spoke to a lot about how to get into the program and, some of my experiences and what I learned, and hopefully it helped them. They both killed it directing their episodes, and Melissa's next, so I'm really proud of them all.
That's awesome. And your showrunner, Eric Wallace, has said that he's thrilled with your directing and would love to see you take on more episodes. Is that in the works?
I hope so. I won't be directing anymore this season, but hopefully we'll go with season 7, and hopefully they give me the chance again.
Well, directing actors you've worked with for years must give you such a personalized experience, as you said. Do you have future plans to also direct totally separate projects where you're coming in with a clean slate?
I would like to. I think that's the next challenge that I'd like to take on. I love directing our show, and I love, again, getting to collaborate with everyone in that capacity, but I'm looking forward to finding something outside of Flash to direct, absolutely.
Sure. Now going forward in the season, we're getting closer and closer to Crisis, the crossover we've all been waiting for. What can you tell us about Caitlin/Frost's role in this year's event?
I'm still not sure how they were able to pull Crisis off. It's pretty incredible. 5 TV shows and so many actors across the board. But they've done it, and I hope fans are going to love Crisis this year. It's epic. It's incredible. Caitlin and Killer Frost are both a part of the crossovers this year, so you'll see hopefully a little bit of both of them.
And some more shows are incorporated than ever, and a nice list of guest stars and cameos.
Yes.
Any surprises you can tease?
I got to work with Chris Williams a little bit, which was great. I think he's such a lovely person, and to get to, it's pretty incredible to bring him all the way from Atlanta for a week of shooting in Vancouver. It was very cool.
How was the vibe on set pulling this off? Everyone was just like...
It's good. It's a challenge. It's a little more than a month that it takes to actually shoot it, so it's ambitious for sure. But it's nice to see everyone.
Did it feel cinematic in a way, like you were shooting...
Yes and no. The problem is you're still traveling to different shows, and every show has their own feeling. Flash is a little bit goofier than Arrow is, and Legends is even a little goofier than we are. So every show has its own flavor. So in that sense, sometimes you feel like the new kid at school.
And blending those tones has to be kind of a challenge too, right? Because each show does have its own voice.
Yes, but I think that responsibility lies more on the writers to, keep the tone of their show accurate and authentic while also incorporating these other characters in their voices.
Sure. So we last saw Caitlin decline the chance to have immortality. Is that a decision she's going to regret, revisit? What's next in her journey?
No, I think Caitlin's pretty clear on where her moral compass is. Unfortunately, I think she's pretty sad to not be able to sway Ramsay, and I think we haven't seen the last of him yet. That's for sure.
All right, well, stay tuned for that. There's been so much at stake as we approach Barry's seemingly unavoidable death. How has the vibe on set evolved knowing there's this huge development looming?
I feel like we've all known Crisis is coming and, have been aware of it. I think a lot of the responsibility has fallen to Grant as Barry, and he's feeling the weight of it. And it's been really nice that sort of every character, every member of Team Flash has had their moment to grieve and prepare this season. Episode 3, you really got to see Killer Frost deal with it. Episode 4, Cisco got to deal with it. And in tonight's episode 6, you get to see Ralph prepare for life without the Flash.
Well, Nash did tease that he's got a plan to save Barry and Team Flash. When will we learn more about that?
You learn a little bit more about Nash's plan tonight in episode 6. And he'll keep working away up until
The very last moments?
Absolutely.
All right, well, big news in your personal life as well. Congratulations on the baby to be. How are you feeling?
Good, really good. The first trimester, I was very nauseous, but I'm feeling much better now.
So your announcement was so cute. Are you relieved to have the news out there now?
Thank you. Yes. I mean, I do sort of keep my personal life a little bit more private, so it's an interesting balance to walk, and one I'll keep working on.
And so going forward, you're going to be a mom and still killing it behind the camera, in front of the
hope
camera. So what are your goals coming up?
I'm really excited. This next year's going to bring a lot of changes. I know that, but I'm excited to take them on and see how it changes and deepens my life too.
So what's the one thing fans really need to look out for in tonight's episode? Any special Easter eggs that only eagle-eyed Flash experts would be able to pick up on?
We introduced a few characters in tonight's episode that will appear again in various different episodes in different capacities.
And after Crisis, where do we go from there?
Well, you have to watch Crisis.
We'll stay tuned.
And then you'll know.